So, we have a driveway this week. Last week we had some drainage. We took out the driveway, we took out the landscape. We generally make a choice with our driveways, right? We want some hard corners or we want some curves. And this one we're doing some more organic curves. Nothing's really matching up exactly. We're just going to make it look like it doesn't have any hard corners. We just don't want hard corners on this one. So what we're doing is we're doing a swoop in from the road and a swoop in from the road. And one swoop is going to meet the house, the other swoop is going to meet the walkway and meet the house over there. So hopefully it looks like one big piece, no hard corners. We are also covering the front patio so that the patio will look like the driveway, covering the tops and sides of it. But we only have one gutter on this house. And usually we like to do some drainage to keep water off our driveway or get the water off your yard because often it's too much water. In this case, we have all of the water from the half of one house and the half of the other house coming into this side yard, which is quite heavily pinched in the middle. It holds a lot of water. So we put in a French drain system. We tied in the only one gutter that's over here just to get all this water off the yard, hopefully soak it out from underneath, push it out into that marsh. Our French drain is like that black pipe, 4 inches, but it has slits cut in it. And a sock around it to keep dirt from getting in. So the water comes, it soaks into the ground, gets all saturated, and pours into that empty space in the pipe and out the box, which has enough fall to push out that box from up here. Well, these 2 yards come together in a V shape, right? So we tried to put this French drain still on the customer's property, but as close to that V shape as we could. But what we also did was we sent out some little legs, little 5-foot legs to each side. 4 of those to capture water to each side of the swale as well. Try to maximize our uptake on that because this was a very, very wet side yard. So with this ADS gutter here, I had to completely detach this gutter piece to make this fit nicely, which wasn't a real big deal, but of course it's one of those things I like to make these gutter adapters look clean. Speaking of clean, we tied in this deck drain and it's looking really good right there. And what you can't see is that there was a pool overflow on this side, only a 1 inch, but similar to that. They're both tied into this gutter drain down here in a way that isn't gonna backflow. It's actually flowing down into the gutter. They don't exchange water either way.
Welcome to beautiful Ponte Vedra. Jeff here with Earthworks. We just finished up this install. We put in a new driveway and a new landscape. Let's go take a look at it. When I met with the clients, they had a neighbor down the street that had just had a paver driveway put in, and it was in the Catalina style and Napoli color, and they fell in love with it. So she decided she wanted to use that here. We ended up expanding the driveway out a little bit and adding some curves here to the walkway leading up to the front door. And it turned out great. The guys really got the curves good, and it just flows with everything else that we did. Originally, the landscape in the front of the house was overgrown. It was put in 20 plus years ago. We had a massive ligustrum standard here in the center in front of this window, and then a matching one down on the other end. And we ripped those out and then everything else out. Kind of shrunk the far bed a little bit just to make it blend a little better with this bed, but then chose some good southern plants and a little bit of color that will blend well with the house. Being from the south, they love their camellias and they love azaleas and things, so I flanked both sides of the garage here with some Sasanko camellias. Got a ton of buds on those, so they're about to start blooming here shortly. And then underplant with some iris and blue days there. Kind of mimic that on this side as well. As our focal tree here in the center, this is a Japanese maple. And then have its sister on the other side, so we get a little balance with those as well. Tried to bring a little color using foliage here, so our foundation plants here under this front window, I chose the Cerise Charm Loropetalum and then some Buttons gardenias in front of there, so they'll get a little bit of fragrance as they walk to the front door, and then obviously the color in the springtime. Have a matching pair of some more Sasanko camellias there at the front entry and some fashion azaleas below those. Just a little pop of different color using the Aztec grass there to give us a little bright white on the entryway. As we go across the other side, kind of mimicking the same palette. She likes symmetry, so tried to balance that as best we could with, even though we have different shapes at the front of the house. but repeating with the button gardenias, the Cherise Charm, Laura Petalum, and then down to the next section of the house, threw in a little bit different color with the Sunshine Ligustrum, some Shishi Gashiras, another Sanqua Camellia there in the corner, and then some Flax Lily. Can't really see them right now just because they're dropping their leaves, but there are a couple of the Flipside Vitex that'll stay about 2 to 3 feet tall, so they'll have that nice little purple flower here in the springtime. But other than that, the front was totally redone and looks great. Can't wait for the springtime when everything fills in and just starts blooming its head off. Around the back, we did a little bit of drainage project and add a little podocarpus hedge, so we'll walk around there and take a look at that. So here in the backyard, we had a drainage issue between the neighbor's house and the client's house. Natural swell, everything goes off to the preserve back here, but it always stayed wet. So we have a gutter here coming off of the screen enclosure, but no gutters over here, so it collected and flowed down. So we put in the downspout catch basins there and then put in a French drain running down here. Kind of had to snake it around some of these podocarpus, but we have a catch basin down at the end and it'll free flow out into the preserve there. She wanted to create a sense of privacy here, and in the past year she's planted some stuff and it didn't make it, so we went with the podos here. These are 30 gallons, beautiful, 6-7 feet tall, right out of the nursery, to give her almost an instant screen here. Not that she doesn't like her neighbors, but she just wants to have a little bit of privacy when they're in the pool and or the hot tub. And one of the last little things we did, this is just a little service area for the pumps, for the pool and all this stuff. Just kind of neatened it up a little bit with some metal edging and some fresh gravel there, just so it's not dirt. But other than that, if you have any problems or any questions or any needs for your landscape, don't hesitate to give us a call or check out our website at earthworksjacks.com.